Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. This is the 2024 Hyundai Santa Cruz. It's the limited trim level. This is an all-wheel drive model. I borrowed this model from my friends at Mike Morgan Hyundai here in Shreveport, Louisiana. If you want to know more about it, check out the link down in the description of the video. This model has quite a few features going for it. It has a nice, comfortable ride quality. It's agile as far as its handling capabilities go, easy to get in and out of small spaces. Obviously, for the size of what it is, that would be expected. But you also have the optional turbocharged engine that offers quite a bit of power. And the technology is rather impressive within the interior. You will also find a bed that has a lot of configuration options and some very interesting storage options. So let's take a little bit of an in-depth look. We're going to hit the highlights here, but we'll hit the main points and see if this truck has the right features for the right price. Taking a look from the front end, you're going to have that nice, unique look that is, well, very classic to Hyundai. The grille and everything around it really flows together as far as the design of the LED daytime running lights. We'll also have our LED headlights and those turn signals down there on this section of the front end that have, well, a little bit of a unique look to them, not just typical as being at the top or the bottom of the headlight housing as you would normally have. The prominent Hyundai logo there in the center of the grille. And as I said earlier, you're going to have all-wheel drive. And speaking of all-wheel drive, let's talk a little bit about tire and wheel size. We're going to have 245 on the width, a pretty wide tire, putting a lot of meat to the ground. A 50 series sidewall, and that's going to be wrapped around the 20-inch wheels as we work our way up to the power adjustable side view mirrors, something I know a lot of you ask about. There it is. Turn signal indicators built into those side view mirrors. You will also have the remote, as you can see. Lock, unlock. You can open the tailgate. You can also use remote start. You have a panic button right there. It is a proximity key. And there is really kind of a rear roof spoiler of sorts here on the cab itself. You'll have the body-colored shark fin antenna up there as well as the roof rails. And really just kind of a unique look. Not something you typically see with all trucks, but that would be the fact that the lines here on the doors and the windows, the way they work their way up right here, that really kind of gives it, well, a little bit of a unique look. And we'll finish things off here with the LED taillights. Again, a nice look back here. There is the 2.5T logo, so that tells you what's under the hood. Something else that, well, can be beneficial right here is going to be the corner steps here on the bumper. Quite deep, so nice area for sure-footedness. It makes it easier to hop in and out of the bed, even though, yes, obviously you don't have a lot of height here as far as the Santa Cruz goes. Just a little bit of convenience. And here under the hood, the 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, 281 horsepower and 311 pounds-feet of torque. And if you didn't know any better, you might assume that this Santa Cruz has a CVT or continuously variable single-speed transmission. If that's what you think, guess what? You're wrong. It has an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, or what Hyundai says is a wet dual-clutch transmission. And you have MPGs of 19 city, 27 highway, 22 combined, at least estimated by Hyundai, and 4.5 gallons of gas is what Hyundai says you should use per every 100 miles driven. And if you're curious to know, the gas tank size is 17.7 gallons. And the good news here for those who do not like the more modern style capless fuel fill, you have kind of the old school version with the fuel cap that you get to twist on. Does it have the old school sound? No, it doesn't. But you know what? It's still there. I think that's going to make a lot of people happy. And towing capacity is going to vary depending on whether you have front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive, 3,500 pounds. All-wheel drive, 5,000 pounds. And here's what's interesting about that. Obviously, the Honda Ridgeline, and those two do not directly compete with each other as far as the Santa Cruz and the Ridgeline go, but The Ridgeline tows the exact same amount, 3,500 to 5,000 pounds. Well, really 5,000 now, because the Ridgeline only comes in all-wheel drive, but when it was available in front-wheel drive, it towed 3,500 pounds. And here with the rear, you have the tailgate, as you can see right here. We dropped that down, and then the bed cover right here, we just release that and let that go forward. And you do have some really interesting features right here as far as tie downs go. You can see what we have on the side here on the bed. Let's see how easily I can do this. It's gonna be kind of challenging to do, I think, one-handed, but we'll see what I might be able to do as far as showing you how all of this works. This is not easy to do, but you can obviously move these back and forth. That is a little challenging one-handed. And those who are saying, Tom, did you put that drain plug back in? Yes, I did, just so you can see. That way nobody can complain about anything. And payload comes in between 1,568 pounds up to as much as 1,906. In fact, let me open this back up just so I can show you the light on the rear of the cab right there. You also have lighting. It's kind of hard to see here. There we go, a little bit better as far as the interior of the bed goes. And there are a couple of options here on each side of the bed, one each as far as storage space goes, but there's a little bit more in the way of accessory right here on the passenger side, because right here you have a power outlet. So in a lot of ways, this truck really is kind of the ultimate tailgating truck. And as far as what rear seat passengers will find, a comfortable armrest right here. We'll give it the armrest test, and actually that is quite comfortable. Have some nice materials here that should be rather durable. And I don't know if I can do this right here. There we go. We did it as far as having the seats are pretty far back here, but you can see you have everything for changing the tire here. If you need to put the spare tire on, you can do that. Both sides of these seats, as far as the seat cushions go, do raise up like that and get out of the way. There are rear air conditioning vents, as well as USB connectivity back here. And tell me what you think. Would you like to see a panoramic sunroof, possibly, with the Santa Cruz at some point in the future? We'll just have to wait and see what might come, but that's what we have right now, the typical, more conventional size of the sunroof that is available here. So if you have a door bin snob in your life, they might have noticed there was no door bins on the rear doors. Well, guess what? They needed to call shotgun, or maybe they can grab the remote and drive, because the front doors do have door bins. Good size for what this model is, and again, those comfortable armrests. Now, you do have some gloss black here. Tell me what you think about that. I do like the way it looks as far as the trim goes. That may fingerprint up a little bit right there, but that's the way it goes. We do have a manually adjustable passenger seat, but a power driver's seat. Both are ventilated and heated. That's always a good thing. And one thing I like here is the contrast. You have the orange right here. You're going to have that not only there on the dash, but also right here with the contrast stitching and the piping on the seats, just to give it a nice look here on this particular model. And a very consistent flow across the dashboard as far as the look goes with the air conditioning vents. And then if it wasn't for really knowing that you have an adjustment right here for the vent, you might not even notice where the vent is right there. So I think that looks nice, kind of a sporty look of sorts. And then we'll have some space within the glove box, quite a bit there. That's always a good thing. And then a little bit more in the way of connectivity here. You're going to have the 12-volt power outlet, a couple of USB options, and you do have a wireless charging pad right here. And for those who are not fans of push-button shifters, well, good news, you don't have that here. Gonna have the traditional style shifter, not unusual for Hyundais, but you will have the cup holders and a few other features here. I probably don't need to tell you too much about what is there. Here's how you're gonna control your heated and ventilated seats. This we just flat don't need today because we're heading for, I think, 104 degrees in Northwest Louisiana. Ventilated, yes. Thank you, Hyundai, for giving me that option during the test drive. And then the armrest right here that doubles as the lid for the center console. Not too bad. I think it's at a reasonable height. Obviously, these seats can be adjusted to compensate for that. And then a reasonable amount of space for the size of the Santa Cruz as far as what is within the interior of that area. And you can control the functionality of that tilt and slidable open or sliding open. Let's see, are we using correct terminology there? I don't know. Tell me what you think, but you can laugh if you need to, but you can obviously control opening and closing the power sunroof. That's probably a better way to put that than saying slidable. And when it comes to the driver's side, which most likely, if you're watching this video, that's what you want to know the most about because you're probably going to be the owner and the main driver here. You don't have a lot more in the way of functionality here, but you do have what you would expect to see as far as the buttons and switches go there, but pretty much the same layout as what we saw with the passenger side door. Like I told you earlier, you do have a fully adjustable power driver's seat. You also have a tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. Drop the lever right there. You can do that. You do have these shifter paddles for working your way back and forth through that 8-speed wet dual clutch transmission we talked about earlier. So now we'll reach over here, we'll hit push button start, get everything started up. And right here, for those of you who do not use your blinkers, if you buy one of these trucks, especially this trim level, here's why you do want to use your blinkers, which is this lever right here. When you push it into the up position, you're changing lanes to the right or turning to the right. And the same thing applies to the left when you push it into the down position. But why do I say that's so cool and necessary to do? Well, right there. You see into your blind spot not only on the right-hand side of the truck, but also on the left. So that is nice. And you're going to control the functionality for your headlights right here. And you can even see what's going on with that. Not that you really need to, but if you do, I like the fact that, well, there's some added value there as far as that goes. I think that's pretty cool one way or another. And obviously you're going to have your steering wheel mounted controls here. That is always nice. And I like what we have here with the infotainment screen. Very simple to use, very easy to learn. It looks nice and modern, and you do have built-in navigation if you want to use that. You have a couple of different options there. Obviously, you can pair your smartphone and do all that good stuff. You can use quiet mode, valet mode. You can control the radio, media. You have set up right there. You can even go into climate right here if you want to and adjust things right there. You can also do all of that right down here. You do have dual zone climate control, technically 3 zones, but dual zones that are adjustable as far as here in the front, and then you can control the rear as well. So a lot going on there, and like I said, there you go. You can see in action. I'm not turning on the heated seats on the driver's side. But you also have a heated steering wheel, something else we don't need today, but it is here. But the ventilated seat, thank you, Hyundai. That is wonderful for today. And I told you, you have multiple camera views. Well, check that out. You do, because you have the overhead view right here. And if you want to zoom in or zoom out, you can do that, as you can see. And then we can also see the overhead view. Quite a bit going on here as far as the different views go with this truck. Camera settings, well, you can make some changes there depending on your situation and desires. So that really helps a lot. A very modern look here, I think. And even though there's quite a bit going on here, a lot of great technology, it's still quite simplistic. I think that's a good balance that Hyundai offers. And by the way, you might have noticed you have a drive mode selector here. So what happens when you change driving modes, and what are the driving modes? Well, we have sport mode. We started out there in normal. We went to sport. You also have smart mode. And with all-wheel drive, as the Santa Cruz has, but depending on where you live, if it snows a lot, well, snow mode could be very helpful. But I really like the way that looks in sport mode, my personal preference. Tell me which one is your favorite. By the way, one more camera view to show you. You also have the front view camera. Very helpful, very clear, very nice picture. Okay, we're gonna hop out on the road for a real quick test drive here with the Santa Cruz Limited. Like I said earlier in the video, it's a very nimble vehicle. It handles well, obviously for its size. It works very well. Easy to drive around in the big city. So if you live in a very large city that's highly congested, a lot of traffic, and you're one of those people who likes to move around through traffic, well, it's probably going to be much easier to do this or to do that with this particular model than a lot of other competitors out there if you're going with, say, a mid-sized truck or something like that, even though, well, there's capabilities where that's concerned that makes that work. But I think the Santa Cruz really corners the market where that particular opportunity is concerned. It's a very enjoyable vehicle to drive, and for those who might wonder, does it have enough power? The power to weight ratio here is actually really good. When you need this truck to get up and go, it definitely will get up and go. You might think 281 horsepower. I don't think that's quite enough. I think we're gonna, okay, I thought I was gonna have to honk at the Altima here, but they're just a little slow. Maybe they're looking at their phone. Very responsible. But let's just push the pedal just a little bit here. I'm just kind of getting into it a little bit. That's actually quite impressive. And I'm not in sport mode, by the way. So for me to say that acceleration is impressive, being that I'm a drag racer, that's one of my hobbies, yeah, I'm kind of used to fast vehicles. So I think that this is a very capable vehicle as far as getting down the road. Now, there are some other things that I could probably do to really test that out, as far as testing what it's like to have cargo in the bed. You pull a small trailer, something like that, have some people here in the cab. But overall, I must say I'm pretty impressed with the acceleration capabilities of the Santa Cruz. The other thing that I really like here is that the interior is comfortable. Plenty of space, at least in my personal opinion. Here in the front, all right, we're gonna try test drive 2.0 here, because the battery died on the GoPro during the last scene. So what was I saying? I think I was talking about the ride quality being very comfortable and the interior having plentiful space here, at least in the front seat area. The back seat isn't too bad. It really just depends on where these front seats are positioned. But overall, a very versatile truck as far as the Hyundai goes. If you're looking for something that maybe has a little bit of capability as far as some light truck duties, well, this is not a bad option. It is a lot of fun to drive. If you live in an area where you have a lot of snow and ice and you go with all-wheel drive, well, obviously that's going to be helpful as well. You have your snow mode. And so there's a lot of versatilities and a lot of capabilities here as far as that goes. So overall, the Santa Cruz really brings a lot to the table. I know we didn't show you the lowest trim level. A lot of you like to see lower trim levels. I just had to go with what was available from the dealership today. But hopefully that gives you a good idea as to what you have and what the Santa Cruz is capable of. Okay, now it's your turn to leave a comment. Tell me what you think about the 2024 Hyundai Santa Cruz. As far as this particular trim level goes, the limited trim level, does it have the right features for the right price? Tell me what your answer is and tell me why you answered the way that you did. And again, if you'd like to know more about this particular model, maybe come into Mike Morgan Hyundai here in Shreveport, Louisiana and buy, well, this model or maybe another. They have others obviously in stock beyond the Santa Cruz. Make sure to tell whoever you talk to that Tom from Vehicle Visionary sent you their way. I want to say a special thanks to my friends at the dealership for giving me the opportunity to borrow this truck and show it to you. I also want to thank each and every one of you for giving me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please make sure to do so. And if you would like to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.